Welcome back to my channel, everyone. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and I am so thrilled and proud to be partnering with nonprofit organization Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep in order to kick off a 4-part video series that we're collaborating on over the course of the year. In today's lesson, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite baby loss remembrance crafts, and this includes how to make what I call Lil Pumpkins in honor of those babies lost to miscarriage, stillbirth, neonatal death, or any other kind of baby loss. These timeless pumpkins make the perfect addition to your office shelves, your fireplace mantle, your front porch, each and every autumn season. Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep is an organization that's near and dear to my family. To date, they have provided the priceless gift of remembrance to over 50,000 families like mine who have experienced the loss of a baby. In honor of Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, please visit the link in the description below and consider assisting a family on their healing journey by donating to Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep today. Your donation will help Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep recruit, train, and mobilize volunteer photographers and medical affiliates in order to serve bereaved families on their healing journey. While you are there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos that Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep and I have in store for you over the next year. We'd love to have you back to learn more remembrance crafts to help honor and celebrate your babies. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Dr. Erin Willer, your Griever teacher. Now let's go ahead and get started.
You are my red, you are my yellow, you are my flower, your colors are all...
Lil Pumpkins activity is a really great one for this time of year. Fall or autumn can be particularly difficult for people who have experienced the loss of a baby because we are transitioning from the warm summer months of growth into the cooler, more desolate season of fall. For those people who celebrate holidays that happen in the fall, such as Halloween and Thanksgiving, this can also be a really difficult time because we always imagined ourselves dressing up our baby in that first Halloween costume or having our baby there for their first Thanksgiving. And so having something to recognize your baby at this time can be especially meaningful. Now, I'm going to link the supplies that you need in the description box below, but I wanted to just say a couple of things about a few of the supplies. Now, the main thing that you're going to need for this project is these styrofoam pumpkins. They come in a number of different sizes, from these teeny tiny guys that you can break the stick off of to big, larger pumpkins. Other thing that you're going to see me use for the project is a number of different kinds of yarns. So you're going to need to get some different kinds of yarn. You'll also see me use what's called roving, which is what felt is made from. So I'll link those below, but really you want to think about any kinds of yarn. You could even use fabric for this that's really meaningful to you. So thinking about what colors do I want to represent my baby for their individualized pumpkin? What kind of textures are really speaking to me and are representative not just maybe of your baby, but perhaps of that grief you may be experiencing at this time. It's all to say that there is no wrong yarn that you can use, and it's really up to you and however it is that you want to represent your baby with these pumpkins. The other supply that you will need for one of the techniques that I'm going to show you is an apple corer. And this one I got at the Dollar Tree for $1, so you don't need to go and buy an expensive one of these. This one will work just great for what we need. The first step you'll see me take here is to use the apple corer to remove the stem from the styrofoam pumpkin. So they're pretty easy to pierce. You can go ahead and make a quarter size or even larger, I think makes it a little bit easier. A quarter size hole in the pumpkin, take that stem out, and then continue to use the apple core to dig out the styrofoam pieces that are inside. The next step you'll see me taking is to separate out a piece of the roving and simply to begin to wrap it over and under through until your pumpkin is completely covered with the roving or with the yarn. And then what you will do once your pumpkin is all the way completely covered with your roving or with your yarn is you're going to take your clean stem that you set aside and simply place it into the hole where it came from. This is the same technique really no matter what yarn you want to use. For this green pumpkin, all I did was I braided a number of different colored pieces of the roving together and then tied each piece together until I had a big long braid. And then it's the same method that you just saw me use. Second technique I'm demonstrating for you here is the wraparound method. So rather than cutting out a hole and wrapping through that hole with this one, we're simply going to wrap around the pumpkin itself. And you'll start off by taking a little dab of hot glue gun in order to secure it. Do not touch the glue like I am doing here. Glue is hot, it can burn you. Some hot glue guns get really, really hot. So do as I say, not as I'm doing here, please, for the sake of your fingers. But as you can see, I'm simply working with the pumpkin as if it's a ball of yarn that I'm rolling up. And it can be a little bit slippery at first, depending on what the texture is of your pumpkin. But once you've built up a bit of a layer, it gets easier and easier to wrap around and wind. And then when it is saturated enough, you're going to secure it with a little dab of glue from the glue gun again. Now you can do multiple colors here. As you see in this pumpkin, I am taking some green and I'm going through and I'm outlining where those natural lines of the pumpkin are already, but you can certainly do a multicolored pumpkin in the picture that you will see coming up here. You will notice that I took a giant pumpkin and just used this gorgeous yarn from Darn Good Yarn. I'll link that below for you. And I fully saturated the whole thing. And then in this other pumpkin, rather than doing a messy wraparound, which is what you just saw me do here, I went around, but in order to make the stripes, I lined the pieces of yarn up exactly next to each other with no overlap. And this is really the same thing that you did before. You're just going to go around nice and neatly lining up the pieces of yarn in order to create a stripe. Now we're ready to move on to our personalization process. So again, I'm sharing two different techniques here with you. In this first one, I'm taking a piece of burlap, which again, I'll link this below, but you can really find burlap, especially at this time of year at any craft store. And I'm going to take my plastic sewing needle and I'm going to just, as you see here, start writing Milo's name. And you might need to go in and out a couple of times to get it to look just exactly the way that you want, but this can be a really easy way. And what might be helpful is to know that at any anchor point of your letter is where you are going to sew in and sew out in order to make the shapes of the letters that you need to get. And then once you have the name all set in the way that you like it, I recommend tying a knot in the two ends of your yarn on the back of your burlap. And then you can go ahead and wrap the burlap around one of your pumpkins. To secure it again with the glue, again, not touching the glue, letting it dry before you are sticking your fingers over it so as not to burn yourself. And then for our second personalization technique, I am using these cute little chalkboard posts and a chalkboard marker. And I am writing my other babies' names on these little posts. So I have Obi, and then I have BW, and then I have Tafiti. Once you are done with your pumpkins, you can place them in a beautiful tray or a basket. They even are great if you want to hang them or set them above your mantle. As you can see here from these pictures, I am displaying our pumpkins on our front porch along with a sign that says "Hello Pumpkin" and one of my "Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep" pictures. And it just is a beautiful way to help honor and remember my babies this autumn season. So I hope that this video and this lesson was really helpful for you. Don't forget to help us celebrate Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month by considering donating to Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. That link is below in the description for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on those upcoming baby loss remembrance craft videos I have in store for you. I have some really great, exciting ideas that I can't wait to share for you, so I hope I see you back next time. And until then, I hope you take care this fall season. I hope that you are able to hold your babies close at what can be a really difficult time. Don't hesitate to put a comment below if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. You can also find me at Erin Willer on Instagram. And until next time, take care, Grievers and Griever Teachers.
Can I paint your picture? Can I take your picture and hang it on my wall?